The IMG Roadmap is the only podcast dedicated to coaching international medical graduates in success blueprints for this unique pathway. I am Dr. Nina Loom, your host, a previous IMG turned hospital medicine physician, healthcare administrator, speaker, and coach. I empower, encourage, and equip you with actionable steps that you can take towards the residency position of your dreams.
All right. Congratulations to all the newly minted residents, interns from the program. So happy for you guys. Surprisingly, the turnout today is pretty low. That's weird, but that's because people are probably like, okay, peace out, move on, which is totally fine. That's the goal here, 100% the goal. So I already see some of you are on the call. It's going to be very informal, just super chill, just like a roundtable discussion, really. And just my hope was twofold. My hope was one, that those who are still in the process could meet those who just matched, so that they can start to build a connection or network, or get to know the other person a little bit better. Because obviously when their turn comes into application season, then they have a resource that they can reach out to. And the way that I was thinking we'll do that is just to do a roundtable, and everybody just kind of share where they're going, sort of their biggest takeaways from the last year. I know you haven't had enough time to really reflect on everything that has happened, and it'll take probably months for it to all settle in. But if we just go around and you share sort of your biggest takeaway from the last year, I want negative feedback as well for the program. So if you feel like there is anything you want to see differently, this is your chance to share that, so the program can be better for the next person. And if you have no negative comments, it's fine. You can just tell us where you're going and your biggest takeaway from the last year. At the end, I'll share the plan that I have for you guys for getting a return on the investment that you put into the program. So once we finish the roundtable, then we'll segue into the plan, and y'all can tell me how you feel about that. Okay. So who wants to go first? Don't make me have to appoint people. All right. Brittany's over here, so I'll make Brittany go first.
Hello, everyone. You're breaking up, Dr. Loom.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's so bad, the connection here. Let's see.
Okay. So I'm going to Texas Tech for family medicine. And as you can see, my Texas Tech shirt.
Okay. No, you did not. You did not.
I did. Yes. And one thing I learned, I guess, for incoming or students who are going through the process again, I would just say go to the second look. I went to the second look, and I think that was actually a game changer for me. And what else? I don't really have any negative feedback right now. I would just say follow everything that Dr. Loom says to do for the course, because that really helped me. I remember when I reached out to the coordinator of the program that I'm going to prior to the whole match process, she granted me an interview, and now here I am. So that's my advice.
Pretty cool. So Texas Tech for family medicine, and you already have your t-shirt.
Yes, I have
my t-shirt. Did you go to Texas Tech before? Or how do you have a t-shirt?
I got it from Amazon.
How do you have a t-shirt already?
I had to represent, I'm going to be there for 3 years.
Walking in faith. I like it. All right. I love it. Who's going to go next?
I'll go. Hi, everyone. I'm Pryia. I matched in North Carolina at Campbell University into family medicine. And I would say the biggest thing I've learned during the process is to be okay with no's and just go for it, to be bold in your approach and don't shy away from asking questions and reaching out to programs. And you're going to get some no's, and that's okay. But what's the worst thing can come from it? I don't have anything negative to share. I was in the program 2020 before I even started applying. So just listen to everything, because it helped a whole lot.
You guys can't let me go so easy. I know you wouldn't be coming to the next session for next year, and that's fair, but give me negative feedback. Oh, okay. Give me suggestions of what could be different for you. And think about it. You can send me an email later on, whatever works for you. Okay. All right. Pryia, thank you. You've been writing since when? Like, it's been a couple of years. So I wish you the very best. There's actually another one of our members that's going to Campbell University as well for transitional year. Her name is, she just sent me a picture today where she's going, and she was like, I don't know what I want to do next. Well, I'll tell her there's a family medicine residency there.
And internal medicine too.
And
so can you send me her contact on like Instagram? We can like follow each other.
Yeah, I will. She just sent me an email before I came online. She was like, I got into transitional year Iffy DC. She's like, I got into transitional year at Campbell University, was that what she had on the picture. And she's like, she's not sure what she's gonna do next. So I was like, well, you have to look for, we're talking about a separate, like finding another position. So anyhow, I'll connect you both.
Okay.
So that would be great. So everyone who's coming in, first of all, my internet sucks. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Cancun. No, what is this? No, Tulum. And the internet is really bad. But what we're doing is we're doing a roundtable. And in the roundtable, we're asking that you share where you're going, your program specialty, one thing you learned from the last year, and one negative feedback or one thing that you want to see the IMG Roadmap do better. And then when you're done sharing, I will share with you how you can get a return on your investment that you put into the program, your financial investment. So let's see. I think Jessica's next. And Jessica's in Cleveland, y'all. Like, she's in like 30 minutes from where I live right now. But too bad I'm down here.
Dr. Loom, why do you have to put me on the spot?
You're next. I'm just going by my like screen.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like I can like write a book of like everything that happened over the last year. Obviously, you and I talked a lot offline. Okay, I don't have, let me say top 3 things I learned doing the IMG roadmap. I think number 1 is I came in feeling like I had no other choice. Everything I came in feeling like I was like a sponge. Every single thing that you said we should do, or other people that came in said we should do, I did it raised to power 10, I feel. For example, you mentioned us writing personalized personal statement for our top 10 programs. I ended up applying to 50 programs, and I wrote a personalized personal statement for all 50 of them. I was not messing around. So I think for anyone who wants to do this program, come in ready to soak up any and everything. It all matters. And then number 2, I would say, is shoot for the stars. You never know. One of I can't remember his name, but I remember listening to one of the people who came last year. It was this guy who ended up being a nurse and then saying that he matched into a program that hadn't taken any IMGs before and it was in his state. And I think that kind of gave me like courage, because I applied to 2 programs who, by folklore standards, I don't have any business applying to, and I applied there and I matched in one of them. Actually, I matched internal medicine in Cook County, and like, I hate to say this now, but based off of score criteria, I'm not supposed to be there. But now I think I've been saying it to myself, I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be there.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then just take advantage of whatever opportunity. I would say that's my 3rd thing. Take advantage of whatever opportunity you get. I had programs who I reached out to before the season started. They invited me to come over to visit, even if my schedule was crazy. I tried very hard to make it work. I spent all my money in my savings to go visit those programs, see them, and like everything just came to the way it was supposed to. And I'm very, very grateful, obviously, to God and Dr. Loom. I used to print a picture of you and put by my bedside.
I think put Jesus' picture first. And then when you have enough of Jesus over your wall, then we can put something else. But I think that the common theme is, advice only works as much as you put into it. Like, yeah, it's hard to say, like Brittany was saying, it's hard to go back for that second look because it's expensive, it's time consuming. But like, if you're really trying to stand out, you really have to keep trying to stand out. Like, it's that easy or difficult. So I think what makes a difference is not only listening to the recommendations, but that you guys were actually doing, like, carrying them out. I think that's the big difference between actually getting recommendations and not doing. It's like going to your doctor and they give you a prescription. You don't go to the pharmacy and cash it out, nothing happens. But if you go to the pharmacy and you get it, then you start to see like the fruit of your work. Then the second tier to this is, as you're going through residency, you probably find yourself in scenarios where you begin to doubt yourself again, and you begin to doubt like why there, especially the first 6 months, because it's a huge steep learning curve, right? And there's no reason to study now. There's no reason to start to prepare. Like there's no amount of preparation that will make you a great intern. You just go in with the flow and you just go with it. But it's important that when those moments come where you may start to look at things and say, well, by criteria, maybe I didn't qualify, by this, by that, by standard, when indeed everybody else in your class is going to be dealing with the same things that you're dealing with. They're just not talking about it. And then later on down the road, 2-3 years down the road, you're like, you guys are having a conversation, you're like, man, so you're feeling that way intern year, I would never have been able to tell. But that's a common theme. I think for IMGs, because we even had some hardship before, there's actually a benefit for us because our mindset's a little different, our gusto is a little different, our drive's a little different compared to American grads who we think have an upper end of the stick, but they really don't. Because when they get to intern year, no one's babying them anymore. And now they're being thrown out to the wolves. So you still have an advantage in that regard. Like everything you've been through, I think would actually position you in a way that you'll be able to show up happily, even when it's hard, right? Like even when those days are gonna come where you're just like, how? Like, how am I supposed to do this? Just remember that everybody else is feeling that way between June and December. It only gets better from like January to June. And then even at that, you always feel like there's something better because then your senior is making you feel like there's more that you need to know. But anyhow, I'll save that story for another day.
Dr. Loom, before we move, I remember you gave me a book recommendation. So I'm asking for a book recommendation for imposter syndrome, because my program had a Zoom call today, and because like Cook County has a big class, it's like 45 of us in one class. And I remember logging on the call and like I wanted to ask a question and I could not like say my question. I had to like type it in the chat. I was just like, oh my God, like after like 30 minutes into the call, like I think I felt good enough to like speak. I ended up not speaking anyways, but I think it's something that I see might be a problem in the future. So if you can help with book recommendations for imposter syndrome.
What I could probably take some time and reflect on your question and like assemble a couple that I can send to everyone that's here today to just start to prepare yourself, because that's a very great point. I mean, you're going to get in and you find out that there's somebody in your program who was a surgeon in India, or someone who has all this experience, right? And you feel like, wow, I don't know anything. So but that's not unusual. Like you do know, it's just there's a huge learning curve between PGY1 and the end of PGY5. So I'll definitely find some resources and put those together and send them out. I think maybe 3 will be good. So 1 per month before June. But yeah, I know for a fact that that's something that I've also noticed. I'm like, when I see people leave the program, the only thing I hear back from them is that every person that has ever reached back out to me when they're out of the program, they're like, yeah, everything is going great, but I'm really struggling. Like, I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. I get that a lot. And it's a true issue. And definitely something that I think knowledge and maybe skill helps with, like skill being the skill you learn while you're in training, and the knowledge being just having like specific knowledge about when those feelings come, here's how I'm going to address them, so that there's a plan in your mind before it happens. But the last thing you want is the day when you get scolded on rounds, or the day where you make a mistake on patient care and then you can't like carry on, right? So anyhow, that's a separate meeting. Ivy is next. Ivy, we're doing a roundtable and we're asking program where you're going, specialty, and one thing you've learned from the last year and one negative feedback for the IMG roadmap. And then at the end, I'll share how you get a return on your investment.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Ivy, OB-GYN at University of Buffalo School of Medicine, Jacobs School of Medicine. And one thing that I really learned last year was don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm one of those people who, it doesn't matter. Like, I always feel as if I can do everything myself, but going through the roadmap, as much as I had confidence, all of that, there are some things that you have to understand yourself that you need to reach out to ask for help. And there are some things that it might seem very insurmountable, but you just need to talk to someone to just help you get to a point where everything just opens up and everything works out. And to know when to ask for help, and it doesn't take anything away from you. It doesn't take away your confidence. And I feel like it's something that I can also take throughout intern year. I'm not going to be scared to talk to a senior, talk to someone and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. And I really, really do need help to actually get through it. Not really a negative feedback. Mine was just the time zone difference because I'm in Ghana right now. So it's like 11 p.m. So that's the only thing that I really struggled with throughout. But I understand too that we have like a broad range of people. People are in different places. So it can't really, there's not a perfect time for everyone. So that was basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you. Much appreciated. Ravneet, well, who's next? Ravneet, I believe. Or Crystal?
EC Health Network, and mine is unlike everyone else. I didn't actually match, I did a SOAP. But I will say, I took a lot of your advice, especially when it came to networking. That was one of the best things for me. I even think it benefited when it came to SOAP, because if you get to know people, they'll remember you when things like this happen. And so when things come up, they'll recommend you. So that's one thing I did do. I did a lot of networking, and I used a lot of your templates, like a lot. And I shared your IG page with just about everyone I could talk to. And yeah, I think that's what's really, really helpful. I'm very, very excited. And I think that's it.
Where you didn't tell us where you're going.
Where EC Health Network. It's in Mississippi.
Okay, awesome. And I'm asking you guys to drop this so that those who are listening or who did not match and watch this later can like get an idea for like other IMG friendly programs, because that's always like, oh, is this program IMG friendly? Well, if they've taken one, they'll probably will take another. So thank you for sharing that. Ravneet?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dr. Loom, my internet was breaking up previously.
That's okay.
Hi, really happy to see you from the other side. Finally.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, really grateful to you for everything. So I matched in internal medicine in Ohio, and it's like I always wanted internal medicine. And one like a takeaway that I would like to share is like reach for your dreams, don't settle, don't listen to those who try to pull you down. I got my step 1 score was like in the 220s. So when I got that, many people told me to not go for internal medicine, that you won't get in. But Dr. Loom was the one who motivated me, along with the other seniors who had come to the meetings. And it was really helpful, because then I thought that maybe I do have hope. Then what I thought was that I'll just go all in for internal medicine. I just applied only to internal medicine the last year. And I was like, maybe if I don't match, I'll figure it out the next year. But I just wanted to go for my dream, and it actually happened, and it still feels surreal. So yeah, that's what I want to say. Yeah. Also a suggestion, I would say that we need a residency roadmap now.
That's so funny. Well,
I second that, Dr. Loom. We need it.
I think so, for real. We're going to need this meeting.
You guys are giving me ideas. Okay. All right, but you guys are about to make some money. So yeah, you pay me. That's all right. All right. Let's see, Doreen or Simone, who's next?
I can go next. That's fine.
Yeah.
So first of all, congratulations, everyone. So I matched at Howard for prelim surgery position, and like such a winding road to get here. Very similar to Jessica, like by number standards, what is this? But so grateful. And I think my learning points throughout this process and like working with you, Dr. Loom, were one, just to like find the right resources, because I think that there's like a lot of information out there and there's like a lot to sift through, but it's really important to like work with someone who you really resonate with and like who you feel like gets you. And I think that was like a huge game changer for me in finding you. So yeah, so there's that. But then also secondly, I think really just like walking in boldness. I think that's like something that I really struggle with. And like Dr. Loom, I feel like you really push that. And in just terms of like your mindset and backing that up with action. So even things with like writing letters to the programs and like personalizing your statements, I don't know, all those things I felt like a little timid about doing on my own, / like, I don't know, I felt like, oh no, I don't want to bother them. But I think that was like a huge game changer. So just kind of like learning that's something I definitely want to like carry with me and work on going forward. So yeah, I think that's all I got.
Negative feedback.
Oh, I don't think that I have negative feedback, maybe a suggestion, but I don't even know if this is already in play, but just thinking back, I wish I had found this earlier. And I don't know like how marketing is done, like who's targeted. Is it mostly like third and fourth years? I would say even as early as like second and third years, I would have loved this, because looking back, I didn't find the course until I graduated. But like even the stuff on like writing letter, how to like kind of go into your rotation to get letters, how to like network and how to find research, all that stuff I think is like super useful, all leading up to this process. And like the second and third years, I think should definitely have that info. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because I appreciate that. Thank you. Who's going next?
Hi, I am Doreen. I did not apply last year. I was in the program and I am still gonna join this year. I'm just here to say congratulations to everybody that matched. I'm happy to see you all, and I'm also happy to share in the joy of your successes. Yeah,
that's what's up. That's what's up. Thanks for coming on. I think a lot of people maybe were intimidated by, feeling like, hey, I didn't match and I shouldn't be here. And then a lot of others match and they're just like having fun somewhere, and that's totally fine. Yeah. So I appreciate you for coming on and just listening to everyone else, because if I were you, what I'll be doing is I'll be taking their names, right? And I'll be kind of just looking out to see who I can connect with on social media, at least first, and then try to build a relationship, right? And then by your same time next year or December, you have someone that you have been communicating with just peripherally, and you can take it the next step, right? Can you look at this for me? Can you look at my personal statement for me? Or can you, give me a recommendation on this? Or, hey, what's your program like? Are there people doing AIs there or whatever? So that's how I would use this program or platform. And if you go into the group, you find people who they're just lingering there, but they've already matched and they never come there, but you can see their names. And so that's another way to just like, just lurk around. And there are other people who want to help. I know this because I've seen their emails. Like they're like, I matched and I'm so excited and I want to give back, but they're not here today, right? Doesn't mean that you can't blast out and say, hey, I'm looking for somebody in internal medicine who can, mentor me or show me a thing or two or whatever. There's always someone. And if all else fails, email us, admin@IMG Roadmap. Hey, can you connect me with 2 people who match IM? And we can find 2 people and connect you with them or whatever you're trying to match into. So I think it's just like using the network to your advantage. Like I think one of the ways that the members least use this group is networking amongst themselves, which I'm like, I wish we did more of that. And hopefully when we go back into the next cycle that start in May or April, end of April, my hope is some of these people can come back, right? And be in the meetings just like others were in the meeting last year. And then you benefit, and it's just like, a gift that gives, or anything to share anything with us today. Okay. There's no other. I'm just going to share with you guys really quickly what my plan is for you.
Dr. Loom,
oh,
I will share a bit because I know my condition, how much I struggle this year also. And first, I will congratulate Brittany, because I'm texting with her a lot after IMG Roadmap, and she know how much I was like depressed at the time because of my STEP exam. And I put a break. I put a break for this USMLE stuff. So I was gone for a couple months to kind of take care of myself. I was just say like this. I talked with Dr. Loom for about since 1.5 years ago, and how much she encouraged me to move on. But she's really like straight to the point. Like you cannot cry to her. You need to come with her with something, Like you cannot just come to her and like cry. Dr. Loom, what should I do? No, not that spirit. She wants something. You are losing, but you must prepare something to go on. That's kind of like Dr. Loom concept. And I would say like I will trying again this year after, of course, like finishing my step. And I'm so happy to congrats everybody who matched. And of course, I will be reach somebody again later, maybe later when this year is the time again. And I was discouraged before because my low step score, but hearing people match with even like with 220, it was like really, really encouraging me to move on, even like you have an attempt and everything. And of course, I will also put your advice, like keeping the person who matched into my contact. I will contact them again later. I will like remember the name. Also, I feel you're right, Dr. Loom, making a residency roadmap or something like that, because this community is really good. Like supporting each other, you know, like meeting and like knowing people is really encouraging. Thank you so much for making this program. Actually, I kind of consider should I apply again for this IMG roadmap this year to preparing again. That's why. Is there any things that I need to do again, like for this year? Should I reapply again for the course?
No, we'll send out email communication. I'm still trying to like plan everything right, but we'll make sure once you're in it anyways. But we'll make sure that we structure it in a way that those who are coming in have their platform to have conversation, and those who have been here are still a part of it without necessarily, you know, because if you've been here, some of the modules are going to be the same. Obviously, the teaching will vary because things have changed, right? Like things are continuously changing. And I've been doing a lot of more, I guess, up-to-date material for the program. But I'll definitely make sure you get communication by email when everything is structured out. So don't you worry, I got you.
Dr. Loom,
thank you so much, Dr. Loom. Thank you so much.
Dr. Loom, before we continue, I just wanted to give a quick word of encouragement to Tree. So Tree, I don't know how to say it, but I just feel like my story, if you don't go out of this with anything tonight, like I'm one of the people who, like, before I did the IMG roadmap, I would reach out to people like, hey, can you please recommend me to your program? I'm applying. I matched on my 4th cycle and I have attempts, and people, not 1, not 2, not even 5 people had told me point blank that I can never get into residency because I have an attempt on my profile. So I and Dr. Loom, that was the first challenge that we went through back and forth. So if there's anybody that's not supposed to get into residency, it's me. And if I can get into residency, I'm telling you that nothing is impossible. And it's crazy for me to like be saying this to you right now, because before now, I couldn't even mention the word ERAS without crying. So just a word of encouragement to you, Tree. I've been here. When you fail your exam or you have a low score, it feels like the world is over. It's not, the sun will shine again. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you can reach out to me if you want. I'm not good at mentoring. Yeah. I don't know how to teach, but if you need someone in your corner that's going to encourage you and just lift you up, I'm here. I can drop my information in the chat.
Please, I just want to say, like, can I have your number or can I have your email or like social media?
Yeah, I'll drop everything in the chat. Yeah,
please drop it to me. I will contact you. Thank you so much, and congrats for your match.
I mean, that's what we're here for. I think this is like the benefit of community, is being able to say, hey, now I'll turn around and, you know, extend my hand out to somebody else so that they can get the benefit from it. So what I wanted to invite you guys to is what I'm calling the return on your investment, which is you definitely paid a price to be here. And I want to show you one way that I think you can get your money back. I'm all about, like, you know, marketing. I love this stuff. It's something that I do. But I think that becoming an affiliate is what I want to introduce to you today, which is basically becoming a part of the program. And what that looks like, I've never done this before, so this will be my first time sort of extending this out. But what that does is, one, it just allows for you to be able to share a unique link that is attributed to your email address and your account, because you already have an account in the IMG Roadmap, but now you're just not a user, you're also an affiliate. And that link would be, obviously, I know some of you have been like, hey, I left IMG Roadmap Course, I think that people should take it. Well, now you can send them your link and they can sign up under you into the program. And there's a commission for each sign up, which is 2% of the total price. So if you go with last year's price, it'll be 2% of that, which was, I think, $597. And that just means, depending on how many times you share your link or how many times people sign up with your link or sign up under you, I mean, that's a couple cups of coffee here and there. If you're like me and you spend all your money on ASOS, that's like a bathing suit or two. So there are some things that you can do with that. I mean, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is share your link. So I'll put this link in the chat, and I'll also follow up with by email if you're interested. This is definitely one way. And even if you haven't matched but you're already in the program and you say, hey, I need somebody else to join this, especially where we're doing all this data recordings and have new stuff coming out, and you can share that with them. So I definitely think if you're interested, that's the link. It's in the chat. I think it would be a great way to get the message out. And then obviously what happens is, so you put your name, your email, and just a one-liner. Really, there's no reason why you wouldn't be a good fit, but there you go. And then when you submit, we will approve your application and it will take you into a back end. And I'll just show you guys a little bit about what that looks like. So the purpose of the back end is just a place where you can log in and see who has used your link, how your link is performing, what your link is. If you don't remember it, you can always just copy your link and paste it in your phone, so that when you're sharing it or you're talking to someone on Instagram or WhatsApp or whatever, you just send them your specific link and say, hey, sign up under me. I get 2% of your whatever fee or cost or whatever. You're helping me, I'm helping you. I think that's a fair deal. So what that would look like on your back end would be, you'll be able to see, and I'm going to log in here. So you guys, I'll share my screen. All right. So you'll be able to see, if you need that, if you need any resources, post, or besides your link. So your link would be here, and you'll be able to get any blog posts and other material that we'll upload on here for promotional material. So this would be flyers and images if you want to put up on your social media, whatever the case may be. There's no pressure. Okay. If you don't want to do this, that's totally fine, but it's here. I thought it was an opportunity. This program has made it available for me to share that with my students if they're interested. And I thought, why not? So I'll send you the link to sign up if you're interested. You can. If you're not, just totally fine. And yeah, that's my proposition to you guys if you are interested. So that's what I thought I was going to use as my way to allow for you guys to be able to get your return on what you put into it, which I believe, like Jessica said, has been multiple already. She was she's already got way more than what she put into it, but I still think it's a great program. So any final words before I let you guys go? I was finding this wouldn't be too long of a meeting. Anyone else on the call that want to say something or ask a question? Zainab, you've been quiet.
Dr. Loom, I have one quick question, because we'll be routing another journey again soon. How to contact you again? Through the group, through the email, through the text?
Oh yeah, the group still stays. After a while, usually we clean the list and we take out those who've already completed, those who've matched, but we're not in a hurry to do that. But I just clean that's the email list, the one where they get all those emails. But we do that once every 6 months, but the group's still there. The group still stays. So you can still reach out to me just all the ways that you do. I think the group is probably going to be better, especially during the course, because I want to use it more during the program so that there's one sort of repository where I can respond to messages and do lives and such. So a few changes are coming. This year, we're going to do a lot of lives in that group so that the app will be more I want it to be a more mobile program. And then I'm also hoping that we can transfer those, the program itself into an app type of setup so that it's easy to do on the go. So there's just so many developments, too many that I'm working on all at the same time just to make it easier. But yeah, the group would be great. All right. Very well. Thank you.
Dr. Loom, I wanted to ask something, if that's okay. So congrats to everyone that matched. I know match season and everything was really difficult. One thing that I would like to say is during the time of the personal statement, that course really helped to kind of narrow into a specific specialty. So matched in LSU for family medicine. So it kind of helped to kind of help with the personal statement. And one thing I would say to kind of make yourself marketable is maybe having like a foundation. So I did a lot of just to because my step 1 and 2 wasn't the best also. It was like very like 212-ish to 19-ish. But I did go outside of the bubble and I created like an organization that kind of, which is a passion of mine too, that helped with, like international assistance. So during my study, I actually organized where like pharmacists, nurses, and, just different medical providers were able to kind of help to the community. So I think that kind of helped my application to like strengthen my application when it comes to me applying also.
On last week, I was getting these messages. I'm like, who is this person? Like, let me look their name up and see. Oh, and then I notice, they're in the program. But then they have no picture. They've never said anything. They've maybe sent 1 or 2 emails here and there. And then they send this long email like, oh, here's how this program was beneficial. I'm like, and you never said a word. Those guys sent me a message today. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is.
Okay, let me just quickly. Congratulations once again to everyone who matched. I'm Tosin and I matched in internal medicine at St. Michael's, New Jersey. I'm so happy. Like, I think for me, one of the things that I learned from this program was just do it. Literally, that's the phrase, just do it. I remember so many times Dr. Lim would say, you really have nothing to lose. I was one of those people who would be so scared to even write an email and send to a program director or anything. And I remember I put up a tweet on Twitter, and the rest I would say is history, because it was through that tweet that I met someone who added me to a group and yada, yada, yada. And I was able to secure an interview and I matched. So my advice to everyone who's coming, just do it. Just send that email, just put up that tweet, no matter how afraid you are, no matter how you think, oh, I don't think I'm the person that they're looking for, or I don't think I have these stats. Just do it. So I'm very grateful to Dr. Loom. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful for this platform. And I wish everyone the best in their journey ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Tosin. I remember one time during the live sessions, and we were talking about personal statements, and I'll never forget Tosin. She was like, I have nothing unique to share in my personal statement. And someone said, Tosin was on The Voice show. And I'm just like, and you have nothing unique to share with your music? So I think one of her statements ended up speaking about music, but it's just interesting to see. And I know that you've been in the program a couple of years, right? Like twice or 2 years in a row. Like you were in the program and then like 2 or 3 years. So
it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for sure. So when I remembered that the other day, I was like, wow, look at Tosin. Anyhow, that's amazing. So let's see. Was anybody saying something in the beginning?
Let me just add this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Back to what I can't remember who it was, added that she had some type of program she created. So one of my the interview where I matched, at the program where I matched, one of my interviewers, we shared something in common, like doing a medical missions trip. And so we spent basically our entire time talking about like our trip, our medical missions trip. And my welcome letter was saying that they were excited to see me match there because we have so much like similar experiences in like my extracurricular activities and so forth. So volunteer work, I would say definitely put that there and show that you're passionate about like certain things within your application. And they will ask you about that, because one of my questions was, what is something that you are really proud of? And then she said, I already know what you're going to say, which was me creating a charity in honor of my brother who passed. And so we just spend the time talking about like community service just from that. And that was the entire 15 minutes of our interview. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, and be ready to come back when we have the newer students, because when we start talking about all those things on those weeks and we have our discussions, I think it always makes a difference when they hear from you. And everyone here is invited to, if you want, we'll let you know when we have our live sessions. If you want to come back in as a guest speaker like we did last year with some of the guests that were speakers during your time, there'll definitely be plenty of opportunity. So what we do is I send out the dates that are available for each meeting, and you just pick what works for your schedule. So that way, and you can pick more than one time if you want. Like, if you want to come on 2 separate sessions, you can do that. I think last year Carla was like, I'll come on all sessions, but you don't have to. You can definitely pick what works. They're going to be in the evenings, on Sunday evenings, and then I have my office hours that I do alone. But then the live sessions, when we have discussions, you'll come in the last hour. So definitely we'll send you guys that info as well. And someone else was trying to say something, I think at the same time. Before we go, we have about 10 more minutes.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm usually a quiet observer, but I'm taking notes. I think I actually learned a lot during this process. One of them was, I agree with Tosin. Do it, just do it. You're scared, do it, scared. I learned to put myself out there, because like normally, like in the real life, I'm actually a very quiet, introverted person. But by putting myself out there, I was able to get free clinical externship and secure LORs from there. Also, Dr. Loom pushed me to write my step 1, but for some reason I was delaying with that. I think if I was to do it, I'll do it the same way. I'll do it the same thing over again. I end up matching in family medicine, actually do well applied. But I end up matching in family medicine at Fort Worth and Medical College of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And I think this program is very instrumental to that success. Thank you very much, Dr. Loom.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I definitely think that residency roadmap, you guys now have me thinking really wildly, because I'm like, I definitely think that's a good idea. But anyhow, I feel like that would be one way too for us to just help make sure that your career doesn't just end up being lackluster, right? Like, especially for those of you that are going into primary care, you're going to realize that you're going to hear all kinds of crap as you start your career. No, that's not what you worry about in first year. First year, you're trying to survive. But later on down the road, you should be able to diversify your primary care career outside of just like the bread and butter, whatever that means for you, whether that's fellowship or no fellowship, or even if you're doing clinic, even when you're doing hospital, whatever it is, it just doesn't have to be like, I don't know, lackluster. But we'll talk more about that later on.
Dr.
But so, yeah, go ahead.
And still relating to the residency map. So until residency map comes out, how would you advise us to go about getting mentors for residency? Because now that I had a mentor through this process, I don't want to ever move like in my life without like a mentor.
Yeah, so I think the first thing when you start is you're just sizing everybody up, right? And what I mean by sizing everybody up is you're looking at all the people in your program first. It's good to have a mentor in your program if your program doesn't already assign one. Some programs are good about assigning, like county is a big program. And so just as much as you have many residents, you have many attendings and like in different subspecialties as well. But then the advantage of being in a place like county is you'll have access to like ACP Illinois, right? And you'll have access to like Chicagoland area internal medicine meetings. So those are 3 places you're going to be looking at. You're going to be looking at within the pool of your attendings, the pool of the Chicagoland internists, and then the pool of ACP Illinois. So being a member in your society organization continues on from here on out. Because from first year, you also have to look at it from the vantage point of who is this person willing to mentor? Because it's just not about them mentoring you, what are they also going to get from it, right? One, they're willing to mentor somebody who will write the paper and take it to the meeting on their behalf, right? They're willing to mentor someone who is not going to kill patients. I know that sounds very vague, but they're willing to mentor the person that is willing to be taught. So your first goal is like, okay, I'm just going to look around and see who is doing what I admire. And sometimes that takes time to actually determine what way you want your career to go. Because when you first start out, you may start watching this person like, wow, I like their style, I like the way they practice medicine, their GI, let me see what they're doing. And then you're like, no, I don't like that, I want to do cards. And then you find out the cards and you start following up with them. So just give yourself time in the first 6 months to just figure out who's doing what do I like, what do I not like. And then when you can get past that stage, then the next half, these people have had time to work with you. They have time to see how you're performing as an intern. And trust me, they're assessing your growth. So asking for feedback, just like we did even as rotations, as with our observerships, getting their feedback early. And then you want to really listen for what they're saying. If you're asking someone for feedback and they're not giving you anything valid to work with, anything solid, they're probably not a good teacher, right? But the person who's able to sit you down and say, okay, you asked for feedback, let me tell you what you're doing wrong. And they sort of make you feel bad, which is what you will feel in that moment, but that's not what it is. That's the person that you want to be able to be like, okay, as much as it hurt, I heard your feedback on what you said. You think I'm not paying attention during rounds. You think I'm not doing this. I'm going to work on a plan. Can I circle back with you in 3 months to see if you can reassess how that plan is going? Now, that is just opening conversation. You're not asking them for mentorship directly. You're just asking for feedback, that's all. By the time you spend 12 months in the program, you would then know who's who, and you know if you like this person's character to want to really like say, hey, would you be willing for me to, come talk with you maybe quarterly or every 6 months, just to see if you can reassess my progress? That's one way to ask for it without necessarily being, hey, can you be my mentor? So I think the first few things is you want to be in a position where you're able to expose yourself to different options, because you may know what you think you like, but trust me, until you start doing it, you won't really be certain as to what you want your career to look like. So first year, you may feel like I want to do primary care. Second year, like I want to do cards. Third year, I want to do GI, whatever the case may be, right? Things change. So it's really important when you start out, first, check the pool of people in your program, the pool of people in your state, and the pool of people in your city. There's always going to be a family medicine meeting or internal medicine meeting that happens quarterly, annually. It's going to be somewhere down at Rush. Some days it's going to be at UIC. Some days it's going to be somewhere else. Be a part of that and just listen and sit there, soak it up, look for that person, and then they'll tell you. They'll have they'll say, hey, today's mentorship day or whatever, or we're trying to link people up with volunteers, or this and that. In the beginning, you're not trying to pin down anyone. You're just trying to absorb and learn and see and expose yourself to possibility. 6 months down the road, then you're asking. 9 months into it, then you're really kind of getting more specific. 12 months in, you're like, okay, I'm going to PGY 2. I need to have a plan for when I graduate residency. So like small steps. But it's important that that person at least is doing what you specifically want to do. So if you're picking a specialty by second year, they must be in that specialty. Just because the more we go in medicine, the narrower it gets. And there's just some things that, and you can have mentors for different things. You can have, like a life coach person on the side. You can have your internal medicine cardiology mentor. You can have your general internist mentor. But then they're all serving in different areas of your life, right? So baby steps. And I mean, even your seniors, right? Your PGY 3s, usually they're kind of always tired and kind of mean in the beginning. So I don't really look at them too much in the beginning, but down the road, they'll become like the key people, because they're going to be the attendings when you're second year or third year. So those are people that are easier to build relationship with. And really, to be honest, what you do for your senior that gets you anything is just listening to what they're saying and carrying out the orders that they're asking you to do as an intern. Like it's really that simple. You'll basically be working for them, like for the first 6 months, which is fine. I mean, you want someone that can tell you, hey, do the H&P, present it to this, don't say this during round, say it like this, change this before you present to the attending. Because if you present to the attending without going through your third year, one, your third year is going to hate your guts. Two, your third year is going to feel like you don't listen to them, and then they don't pay you any attention. And all your learning in residency comes from your third years. They're the ones sitting with you. They're the ones showing you the ropes, or fourth years if you're in OB, or fifth year if you're in surgery. Actually, fifth year in surgery, they're not even talking to interns. They leave the teaching to the third years. family medicine, third years, yeah, they were seniors. Second years also. So a lot of the work will come with dealing with those people who are spending the majority of time with you before you even go to the thing. Because you talk to your attending sometimes, they'll say, have you asked your senior? And then you're like, oh, because they don't want to answer those questions. They want your seniors to teach you. So anyhow, we're almost at time. Thank you guys for joining today. Thanks for being a part of this group, of being a part of this meeting. So many others who wanted to be here, who couldn't be here. And I know that so many of us are going to stay behind and continue on in the program, retaking it, redoing it. So I'm so glad for those who match and those who are exiting the IMG Roadmap pre-residency program, because now I guess the residency program is going to come soon. And remember, the link to become an affiliate is available. If you are interested, we'll also reach out to you by email when it comes time to encourage the next cohort as well. And if you did not match, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I mean, I shouldn't say that. You have the right to feel bad, but don't stay there. Like, don't let it define what tomorrow brings, because we don't know what tomorrow brings. Nobody knows what tomorrow brings. And if there's one thing that I've heard today is Jessica saying that this is her 4th attempt at matching. But I think if she did not put herself to the task of reapplying, she would not have matched, right? Like if she did not put herself through the risk, which is what it is. It's like exposing yourself to the elements of rejection deliberately. Because when you've known only failure for 3 years in a row, it's easy to become familiar with what that feeling is like. It's easy to become accustomed to expecting the same result the 4th time. Or Brittany, who had been through this the year prior, had interviews, didn't get the position. And you start to question, like, what am I doing wrong? And so when those things happen, the only way that you would be able to move forward is not disregarding your feelings. It's not forgetting about the failure, because you cannot. You cry at sleep, you cry to sleep at night. You know it's constantly on your mind. Like you're even sitting on this call and listening to this later on as a replay, and there's feelings of jealousy, right? Quite frankly, sometimes there is. And it's not, I don't think it's wrong. I think it's expected. And I don't think we should look at it as wrong or right if I'm feeling jealous that somebody else got what I wanted or something that I desired. But I think it's important to realize that, hey, that is a feeling of jealousy that is not necessary, or an envy that's not necessary. Instead, I can collaborate with them. I can, get to know them a little bit better and get some benefit of knowing them as opposed to feeling sorry for myself. So if you did not match, I know it's hard and I don't want to minimize that, but there's something to be said about taking the risk again and exposing yourself to those elements of rejection. Because if you don't do it, then you will know what is possible. And if you choose that this is the end of the road for you and you don't want to try again, you can create a second career plan. You can have another career plan, but just be sure that you're happy with your decision. All right, good night.
Good night, Dr. Loom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Dr. Loom. Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Good night.